My sister-in-law took advantage of me. She knows my weakness when I go out and drink, and she took me to a boutique with her friends and used me to the advantage of buying them all expensive purses. I woke up in the morning with negative money in my bank account, and I couldn't even remember how it happened. When I found out that she did something to my drink, oh boy, all hell broke loose. No matter what you do, there will always be someone who has issues with you. You can be Taylor Swift and somebody will still complain that your melody's too sweet or your lyrics are too relatable. To the point is, haters are going to hate you no matter what. And they're not just going to hate you. No. They'll take advantage of you the first chance they get and act like it's your fault. And you know what? It'll all be your fault. It is mine right now. I'm Emma, 27, a marketing executive at one of the top companies in the city and a huge Swiftie. I was supposed to be married to my dreamy boyfriend Mark next week, but I'm not sure it's possible now. Why? The type of person I was referring to above, which in my case is none other than my sister-in-law Lily, and boy does she have it out for me. I know I probably shouldn't say something like this for my own sister-in-law, but she's truly the B-word incarnated as a human. From the moment I met Lily, I could tell that she didn't like me. It was obvious in the way that she looked at me like I was some sort of intruder in her life. She was Mark's younger sister, and I knew family was important to him, so I tried my best to get along with her. But no matter what I did, it was never enough for Lily. It started with these little things. Whenever we were at family gatherings, she would make snide comments about my job, like marketing is just a fancy word for lying to people. I mean, what? I know you don't have brains, but why announce it to people like this? Or she would bring up my past relationship, hinting that Mark was just another guy on my list to our friends when she thought I couldn't hear her. I tried to brush it off, thinking that she would warm up to me eventually, but Lily was determined to make my life difficult. She would go out of her way to create problems between Mark and me. Once, she told Mark that she'd seen me having lunch with an ex-boyfriend, suggesting that I might still have feelings for him. In reality, I had run into my ex by chance and had a brief, polite conversation, but Lily twisted the story to make it look like something it wasn't. It took a lot of reassurance to convince Mark that there was nothing to worry about, and even then, the seed of doubt had been planted. Lily also had a knack for making me look bad in front of Mark's parents. She would tell them about things I supposedly said or did, exaggerating or completely fabricating details. One day, she told Mark's mom that I did not like her cooking. It wasn't true at all. I absolutely loved her cooking, guys. Come on. And have always been grateful for the effort that she put into family dinner. But Lily's lies made Mark's mom worry of me, and it took a long time to rebuild that trust. Despite all this, Lily never missed a chance to get favors from me or take advantage of my kindness. She would ask to borrow clothes, money, or my vehicle, always promising me to return them or pay me back, but rarely following through. She invited herself to events I was planning, making herself the center of attention and overshadowing me. If I ever tried to set boundaries or say no, she would act hurt and make me feel guilty for not helping her out. I remember one time she asked me to help her with a project for her job. She worked in event planning and needed someone to design some marketing material. I agreed, thinking it might be a way to bond with her. I spent hours putting together brochures, flyers, and social media posts for her event. She thanked me, but when the event was over, she took all the credit. She didn't even mention my name, and when I confronted her about it, guys, she just shrugged and brushed me off as if it were no big deal. Now, I know you guys must be like that. Maybe she couldn't credit me, or maybe she needed the credit for herself, as it may be more important for her, but what about the times when I did things for her just purely out of the goodness of my heart? What did she have to do and act so entitled when I tried to do nice things for her? Why is it never enough? I once organized a surprise birthday party for her, inviting all her friends and planning everything, drawn to the last detail. I thought it would be a chance to show her that I care, but instead of being grateful, she complained about the venue, the food, and the guest list. It was like all my efforts have been dumped into the gutter in front of my eyes. Through all of this, Mark tried to stay neutral. He loved his sister and did not want to believe that she was capable of such pettiness. I did not want to come between them, so I often kept the feelings to myself, hoping that things would eventually get better. But Lily never changed. She continued to undermine me, create problems, and take advantage of my generosity. Despite it all, I was ready to let her be. I mean, everyone has people in their family or relatives that they don't like, and they just learn to ignore them and live with it. I thought I could, until 2 days ago. She has crossed all her lines, and I cannot let this go any longer. Let me explain it to you, please. It all started on the night of my Bachelorette party. I was excited. My friends had been planning it for weeks, and I just knew it was going to be a blast. We booked a fancy, smancy club, drinks, dancing, all my favorite people. Well, almost all. See, Lily was there too, and I was afraid that she might create trouble. But I didn't think much of it, and after all, it was my night and nothing could ruin it. Or so I thought. We got to the club and everything was perfect. The music was pumping. And, well, the drinks were flowing. I was surrounded by my best friends. We danced and laughed the night away, and for a while it was everything I had hoped it would be. But then Lily started handing me drink after drink, and I should have seen the warning signs. She was being too nice, way nicer than usual, but it did not really question it. I mean, it was my Bachelorette party. I wanted to have fun, and boy, did I have fun. As the night went on, I got drunk. Like really, really drunk. I'm a happy drunk and generous drunk, and Lily knew that, and she kept encouraging me to have another drink, and then another. And at some point, she and her friends, who I didn't know very well, started talking about this amazing boutique nearby. They were going on and on about how they had these gorgeous designer bags and jewelry. In my drunken state, it sounded like the best idea ever to go there. So off we went. I was giggling and stumbling, barely able to keep myself upright. Lily and her friend practically dragged me to this boutique. I remember the shop being all shiny and glamorous, and they started picking out all these expensive items. And me in my drunken generosity was more than happy to buy them. I mean, everything was so pretty, and I was happy, so why shouldn't I make people happy? That's the way my brain works when I'm drunk. I can't even remember how much we spent. The next thing I knew, I was walking up in bed with the worst hangover of my life. My head was pounding, my mouth felt like sandpaper, and I was still in my clothes from the night before. I groaned and rolled over, trying to piece together what happened. Well, nothing. The last thing I could remember was dancing with my friends, and I don't think much about it and went on my day as normal. It was all going well until my payment failed at the local coffee shop. At first I thought the server must have been down or something, some sort of technical issue, but then it failed 3 times in a row. I checked my bank statement, and I kid you not, I literally fell to the ground. Thankfully, I had some loose change on me at the moment, otherwise it would have been so embarrassing. I quickly paid and ran from there quick. I honestly spent a whole day thinking about whether I lost my card, someone hacked my account, or what could have gone wrong. Thousands of dollars are gone, and I could not remember a thing about what happened. Panic set in as I frantically called all my friends trying to piece together the night. Nobody knew anything, or so they said, and even Lily acted clueless, faking sympathy. I even called the bank, but they confirmed that all the transactions have been made using the authorized card that I have with me. As I was losing my mind, I walked past the bar I was at yesterday, and then a fancy boutique, and suddenly everything came flooding back. The glitzy store, the drunken shopping spree, Lily's encouragement to buy more and more, and I saw her smirk and heard her urging me to be generous. She used me. I stood in front of the boutique with my mind racing, with the realization hitting me like a ton of bricks. Lily knew exactly what she was doing, exploiting my drunken state to get what she wanted? Guys, how could she do this to me? Honestly, I wanted to go back to her and pull all of her hair off her head, but she's still Mark's sister. So here I am, writing on the internet, hoping to cool myself before confronting her. I don't think it's going to be easy considering how easily she lied to me on the phone, so please tell me what the best course of action should be. I looked forward to reading all your comments before confronting my selfish sister-in-law. So, guys, thank you and goodbye. Updates number 1. Hey guys, I knew Lily was selfish, but I could have never guessed her to be so evil. Yes, right after writing the post yesterday, I went to confront Lily, and it's even worse than I could have imagined. Before I tell you how it all went, let me tell you something that I was too embarrassed to tell you last time. The thing is, the account had all my savings from the past 3 years that I've been saving for my wedding. All of it is gone. I don't think I'll be able to have my wedding. So I guess you understood how important money was for me. So I went straight to her place to confront her, and when I arrived, she opened up the door looking surprised to see me. I wasted no time and went straight to the point, telling her that I remembered everything about the night at the boutique. I told her how she had taken advantage of me and how she had manipulated me into spending a fortune on things that she didn't really need and could not afford. I hoped that she would see how serious I was and feel some semblance of guilt or remorse. To my utter shock and dismay, when she realized I remembered everything, she did not look guilty or sorry at all. Instead, she looked almost amused. She admitted to everything without hesitation, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. When I asked her how she could take advantage of me like that, she didn't even flinch. Instead, she crossed her arms and gave me this smug look and said, "Emma, you bought those things willingly. No one forced you." I was speechless. The nerve of her. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My anger, it turned to desperation, and I begged her to return the gifts. I explained how important that money was for my wedding and how postponing it would devastate me. I hoped that by appealing to her sense of decency, she would understand and help me out. But Lily just shrugged. She said I had bought the items willingly and that she had no obligation to return anything. She dismissed my pleas, refusing to even consider giving the items back. It was a coldness and lack of empathy that shocked me. I felt like my world was crashing down around me. How could she do this? My wedding was, just a few weeks away, and now I was in debt because of her. I had no choice but to postpone the wedding. Telling Mark was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. He was shocked, of course, and I could see the disappointment in his eyes. But he didn't blame me. He was upset with Lily too, but he was more concerned about me and how we were going to get through this. He even tried talking to her, but at first she just ignored him, and later she told him the same thing that she had said to me. She's truly beyond me. Postponing the wedding, it was devastating. I dreamt about this day for so long, and now it was slipping away because of Lily's spitefulness. I'm furious and heartbroken right now, but I know that begging Lily won't help. She's too selfish and vindictive to care. With only 4 days left to go, you can only imagine how embarrassing it is to cancel the wedding now. Thankfully, I kept the guest list small and personal. Hopefully that would make things less awkward for me. I'm devastated, I have a lot to take care of, and at the moment I just can't hardly focus because the person who's the reason behind all of this is living happily. I can't bear it. I want to make her pay, I just don't know how. Once again, I need your help. Please tell me how I can make Lily pay, because letting her get away with all this is the last thing that I want to do. Please, I beg for your advice. Updates number 2. The wedding day has officially passed now, guys, and well, I'm still just a fiancé, but a happy one. Why? Well, let's just say that my plan to make Lily pay has been set in motion, and it's going better than I could have ever imagined. It's been 4 days since I last updated, and here's everything that's gone down. Well, after the decision to postpone the wedding 4 days ago, I was heartbroken when a friend of mine, Sarah, she called up inquiring about Mark's bachelor party time. At first, I was about to tell her that it's canceled, but then a brilliant idea hit my brain like a train. The thing is, I hadn't called people to tell them about the cancellation of the wedding, and all the arrangements of the bachelor were already paid in full, so it felt like such a shame to cancel the party when it could be such a good use. I confirmed the time and told her that I needed her help, but I'd elaborate with her about it in a bit. We hung up. It was difficult to persuade Mark to still go, but I was able to convince him by saying that it was already paid for, and that it would make me happy if he would go and relax a bit. So he finally agreed. Now back to Sarah. In case you're wondering why female friend was asking about my fiancé's bachelor, well, that's because she was the stripper hired for Mark's party. She and I had gone to college together and kept in touch over the years. I knew she worked as a stripper, and I'd recently heard that she was hired to entertain Mark's bachelor party. The irony of it all, it was almost just too perfect. Sarah was exactly who I needed for my plan. See, when I explained my situation to Sarah, she was surprisingly supportive of it. I'll tell you that. She was very, very supportive, if I'm being honest. She'd always been a good friend, and she knew how much I've been looking forward to my wedding. When I told her about Lily's betrayal and how I need her help, she agreed almost instantly. We spent hours planning, making sure that we would have no loose ends that could trace back to us. The plan was simple. Sarah would attend the bachelor party and focus all her attention on Jake, my sister-in-law's husband. The plan was that Sarah would flirt with him, get him drunk, and then take some compromising photos that made it look like they had slept together. So technically, whether my plan would work or not depended on how loyal Jake was to Lily. The night of the bachelor party, I was a nervous wreck. I couldn't be there, of course, but Sarah kept me updated with text. She told me when she arrived, when she spotted Jake, and when she started flirting with him. She said he was eating it up, clearly enjoying the attention. It wasn't long before she had him wrapped around her finger. Sarah sent me a few photos throughout the night, and my heart was pounding with each one. There was Jake looking cozy with Sarah, and his arm around her waist and her hand on his chest. It was all falling into place. She made sure to capture a few moments that could easily be misinterpreted. As the night wore on, Sarah took Jake to a more private location of the venue. She snapped a few more photos. It's, this time a little more suggestive. She made sure to get shots of them on a couch, looking like they were kissing, and another where she was sitting on his lap with her arms draped around his neck. It was enough to make anyone who saw them think that they slept together. When the party finally ended, Sarah sent me a final text. Mission accomplished. Soon enough, I received all those photographs. Sarah had really done a good job. Now it was my turn. The next morning, I compiled the photos Sarah had taken, and with the help of a new anonymous email address, I mailed them to all our friends and family, including Lily. I knew the news would spread like wildfire. The effect was immediate, and my phone started buzzing with messages and calls from friends and family, all shocked and outraged by the photos. I played my part perfectly, acting just as surprised and appalled as everyone else. I even called Mark, pretending to be heartbroken over what happened at his bachelor party. He was furious, not just at Jake, but at the whole situation. He couldn't believe what his sister's husband had done. Lily, of course, was beside herself. She called me, crying and hysterical, the audacity. She couldn't believe Jake would do something like this to her. Well, what can I say? He did. I faked sympathy all while thinking about how she doesn't even know this is just the beginning. I'll make her pay for what she did to me and make her lose everything. I just need some time, and I swear Lily will regret ever messing with me. I'll keep you guys updated, and, until then, see you later. Updates number 3. Hey guys, it's me, and I'm back for an update. This is probably going to be my final one. It's been about 5 months since I've last updated, and trust me, it's been a colorful month. Lily is in absolute ruins. She lost her husband and family, and her finances are in absolute ruin, and she's been shunned by everyone. I received a few comments on how this wasn't the way to go about it. The only thing I'm going to say is that she ruined something I've been preparing for the past 3 years, so I hardly care for fairness. Anyways, let me resume from where I left off. After I posted the pictures, the whole family was in chaos. There was gossip everywhere, people could not stop talking about the scandal, and the rumors spread like wildfire. Jake, feeling guilty and manipulated, was in a state of utter confusion. Based on their conversation he had with Mark, he didn't know what to believe and was embarrassed by the whole situation. Honestly, I felt a bit of pity for him until I remembered that I had done nothing but give him a chance to prove his loyalty. None of it would have happened if he hadn't been such a dog. But anyways, I guess that worked out in my favor. The scandal reached a boiling point when Jake confronted Lily. Their argument was loud and public, attracting the attention of everyone around. In a fit of rage, Lily decided to move out and stay with Mark's family. It became a little annoying for me every time I visited Mark, but I kept my true feelings hidden, knowing my plan was still in motion. Next, I had Sarah call up Jake's house, pretending to demand payment for sleeping with him. She quickly hung up after making the demand, leaving Jake baffled and paranoid. He was on edge, and this call just pushed him further into a state of confusion. Then I hired a man. I literally took money out of the emergency fund, so you can guess how important it was for me to make Lily pay, just to deliver a huge bouquet of intimate notes and flowers for Lily to Jake's house. The note was more than enough to make anyone believe that Lily had been cheating on Jake. Luckily for me, Jake added 2 plus 2 together exactly how I wanted him to. He concluded that Lily was having an affair, and to put the blame on him, she hired a stripper to frame him. Fueled by anger, Jake stormed over to Mark's house to confront Lily. In front of everyone, he slapped her and declared that he was divorcing her on the spot. Everybody was shocked and stunned, and the scene was really something out of a very dramatic soap opera. Well, Lily stood there humiliated and in tears while Jake stormed off. The fallout from this fight was so immense and immediate, Jake wasted no time in suing Lily for defamation. That's when I did my last part. The case, which was very messy initially, was resolved quicker than anyone could have expected. Why? I asked Sarah to testify against Lily, which was more than enough. She confirmed the photos and the setup, painting a damning picture of Lily's involvement. Lily's life started to fall apart. She was ordered to pay hefty charges, which only added to her financial ruin. Socially, she was shunned. People who had once been her friends turned their backs on her, and she found herself isolated and alone. It was everything I had hoped for and more. Her parents were disappointed in her, and so was her brother. As for me, I've been working extra hard for the past 5 months, and luckily, I've managed to save enough to have a decent wedding. It won't be like the dream wedding I wanted earlier, but I know whatever I have with Mark with me, it'll be perfect. As for my grudge against my sister-in-law, I have none. She can keep the expensive dresses and jewelry because I know I made her pay more than they were worth. This is my story. A thank you for the support and kindness you've shown me throughout this. Goodbye.